Hello and welcome to the weekend show of hot trades of the day. Not a hot trade, but nonetheless just as hot. We're going to talk about Equinox Gold and what has happened in the news, an update about the company development, and there's a really important stepping stone that has happened that we're going to talk about now. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. So, welcome to the premiere first episode of the weekend edition, where I gonna deep dive into some of the companies that we talk about here and the news and updates that have happened, how I see the chart, how I see the company. If you like this concept, leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. It all helps us out and shows us, hey, this is what you guys want to see. And then we're going to keep doing it. So let's jump right into it. Equinox Gold, big junior producer. As you know, I've done a video series about them. You can find the link to the video series here. I highly recommend you watch them to know what's going on before you watch this update video. If you have seen them, if you're kind of familiar what's going on, good enough. Let's get into it. So we had a big announcement, but not a crucial announcement by Equinox Gold, and we need to understand what that really means. So on August 28th, Equinox came out and announced that it has started first ore processing at the Valentine Mine. You know, we have three big projects. It's really four, but three are the big ones. And the two that are most important at this moment are Valentine and Greenstone. That's the two big Canada mines. Greenstone has been way behind scheduled production. A big problem. Valentine is about to start production. And one of the big stories of Equinox Gold is if they get Valentine up to the production that they said it's going to be at, and if they are able to get Greenstone to the production targets that they had announced previously, then we're sitting really good with Equinox Gold. And then obviously we have the super joker of Los Filos in the Mexico in the back of our, or up our sleeves, let's put it that way. I think that would be the right expression. And then obviously the California gold mine as well. Those are the four big stories, but the California one, it's a really good mine, but I like the other three better. So Valentine, right now, in order to unlock the potential that Equinox Gold has, obviously one of the core things that needs to happen is that Valentine starts production. And we took a big step forward in the past weeks as Darren Hall announced that they have begun processing ore through their mill. And then obviously the important part is that this is not first pour, right? So they say right here, we expect to pour first gold within the next month, so within September. It's a little bit behind schedule, but minimal. We can basically ignore that. The most important part is that we get the fourth quarter of production at Valentine to see how it's going. That's the most important part. Now, another thing that's important to understand, first pour, that's going to probably cause a lot of attention in the market because it's kind of like the kickoff of the Valentine project. But if you are into college football or you know anything about college football, as you know, I'm a big college football fan, first pour is kind of like your university getting the commitment and the letter of intent of a five-star quarterback, right? It's pretty big for the program. It's great news, but the quarterback hasn't really done anything for you yet. Now, after first pour, in the fourth quarter, that's when he's going to get on the field and play for Equinox Gold. And that's where we're going to see what he's really made of. So this is one of the reasons why the stock hasn't reacted very positively. Because It's first ore processing, it's not first pour, and first pour is really, it's a headline more than anything else. It's important, it's an important step, and we want to see it. Why do we really want to see this in September? Because it builds trust. And we know that this has been one of the problems of Equinox Gold in the past. We're well aware that the Equinox Gold management was excellent in overpromising and under-delivering, and that was one of the problems. So what we want to see now is obviously, let me make this a little nicer for you. Here we go. So we want to see first gold Q3. That, by the way, used to be end of August, but you know, again, Q3, good enough, right? Mining is a super hard business. Rarely is it ever on time and on budget. So anything within a few weeks is completely reasonable and not an issue at all. So we want to see start of production Valentine. We want to see ramp up of production and hitting the targets of Greenstone. And we got Castle Mountain, that's the California project. And then Los Filos, that is the big Mexico project. That's the Joker. Obviously, we got these two mines here in Nicaragua that Calibre Mining brought in. They're excellent. And then we have some smaller projects as well, but they're not that important. As a matter of fact, Equinox sold off a smaller project in Nevada. I think that is the absolute right step. That's what we want to see. Also good that they sold that. Not so much, again, not so important that they sold it, that the money that they made, that's all cute. It wasn't that much. It's about execution. We need to build trust in the new management, which is led by the Calibre Mining people now, which I really love because I hold them in very high regard. And this is really going to be the measuring stick. Are they getting Greenstone on track with the production targets? Is Valentine ramping up and hitting the production targets fast? If that happens, then Equinox Gold has a chance to go a lot higher. Multi-bagger potential, I've said this before. Why? Because it's significantly undervalued right now. It now has a market cap of around 8 billion US. And that's great. The bigger it gets, the more interesting it becomes for institutional investors. Because this is a story by valuations that's very appealing for institutional investors. But they want to see that the management can really execute after years where the old Equinox Gold management, which is ousted now, used to come in with lower production numbers and higher production costs. The exact combination that nobody wants to see. But we got a new management now, and now we need to see that they're executing on the strategy and selling the Nevada Gold project, starting first ore processing at Valentine Mine. These are exactly the right steps, but they're only steps, right? The real key will be the fourth quarter when we see or should see first production numbers from Valentine, and then also the new management had time to get adjusted to the situation in Greenstone, and we'll see what the turnaround there does. So let's get to the chart. Okay, here we go. I moved the picture to the left so you can see the situation better. This is the chart for Equinox Gold. And by the way, if you like this content, hit the subscribe button so you do not miss a video like this again. Great run up since we talked about the company, up about 50%. That's nothing to sneeze at. However, as you can see, we're clearly overbought short term. We see the start of topping formation. It could be an island reversal. That's going to be, we'll have to see if it really plays out like that, but it really looks like it. You see RSI down at the bottom, massively overbought. Not only that, if we zoom out and we go all the way back to 2019 when a company went public, then you can see we are really basically at the second highest level of the RSI all time in the stock, second highest level in 6 years. Whenever you reach historic zones like this, I've said this before, that's where you should become cautious. Now, again, full disclosure, I'm not getting compensated by this company for this video at all. I am, however, a shareholder of Equinox Gold for a long time. Am I selling my shares? Absolutely not. Right? I'm going to ride the correction because I believe this stock has the potential to go much higher. We'll see if they'll execute on it, but the potential is there. And this potential is much higher than a lot of the senior producers have to offer, and even a lot of the junior producers have to offer. However, short term, if you have trading positions, you might want to think about taking some profits. Now, where would the correction take us? We have two targets, but we have to discuss if they're reasonable. So the first target, obviously, is this old resistance zone, the yellow zone, right? As you can see, this comes all the way, goes all the way back. Bottoming formation, broke through the resistance zone, party time. So what does happen quite a lot? You go back and you test the breakout area and then bounce off it and you're off to the races. With an area like this, like a resistance area or a support area of that magnitude, that makes a lot of sense, right? We also have a gap open, so a gap fill down here. This purple line could be possible, but I am not sure that we're even gonna get there because we now started a new rally in gold. And again, if the fundamental situation with Equinox improves, we should see prices going up quickly because the stock is undervalued compared to its peers. So this is where the money is going to flow into. So I can absolutely see that we're going to go back to $8, that we're going to go to this zone right here, which is not very strong, right? But this is a heavily traded zone around $8. And then maybe if we get a bigger correction in the stock markets and a concentration in gold, maybe 745 is in the cards. Down here, I only see this if gold would correct, if we see a correction in gold and we see a correction in the stock price, not sure about that. So if you're not invested in Equinox Gold and you're interested in doing so after you did your own research and due diligence, then probably a correction that's coming right now is a really good chance to get in before Valentine starts production, before we may see, because we don't know yet, if they get the production of Greenstone on target. And then I think areas at $8 and $7.50, $7.45 are two areas that might be interesting to look at. That's it for today. That's the first update edition of our trades of the day. I hope you liked it. Leave a comment, leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.